obviously we're transitioning from a country page to a country site. The host directory and the leaderboard. The leaderboard is something that, you know, like I said, to this point has been reliant on the uploading of spreadsheets. And this is the primary thing that we heard from all of you in the working session yesterday, was that please get us away from these spreadsheets. And so we're trying to. And that's part of the global site. And the plans for that is that we've got one kind of unified, I'll call it a registration system, where partners can upload information about their activities directly on your sites, and that feeds directly into the global site, and so that way everything's accurate and immediate. You did manage to get this in there. Very well done. The one thing I'd like to do, and we'll have a quick conversation here, but is encourage you all to write down this domain and take the survey, because quite honestly, I know that you're only going to use this thing if it works for you. And so I want to hear what your comments and concerns are. We want to see what your priorities are in terms of the site, and so that'll help us kind of figure out the process and where we go from there. So please do take that domain down and fill out the survey. It's pretty quick, I assume, a couple minutes. Okay. All right, so you know what? Actually, Saeed, I'm going to have you cover the themes later. I just want to do a quick conversation now, and then I'll turn over to a couple of guys in the back of the room. All right. Pardon me? One slide back. Thank you. Yeah, and I'll leave that up for the conversation. So I guess I'll throw it on out there to anybody who wasn't in the conversation yesterday in the working lunch, or Rui, with a comment or a question.
Okay. Yes. Something that it's important is the table with the activities and the possibility of dividing by continent, for instance. Is something that our sponsors look, and when they find that we have 0, because it wasn't updated yet, they complain. Yeah. And they want to know why. So in 2010 we had it. In 2011 it was a little bit hiding. What's the plans for this?
The plan is to have that full leaderboard and have it sortable by a number of factors. Obviously, partners, activities, and participants is something that we'll do. Well, certainly partners and activities. Participants is a little bit presumptive, I guess, because it's before events. But we will certainly take a look at that in terms of being able to sort kind of the tracker table by continent.
Okay, my name is Banki from Nigeria. Okay. One of the challenge we have last year is on the matrix for the programs we did on radio and on TV. And we covered quite a lot of grounds, and we used about 2 or 3 radio stations, the popular ones. But unfortunately, nothing of that nature was captured in the matrix. And again, it's a challenge for us, because how do you capture the audience that listen to this? And we ran these throughout the whole 7 days of GW.
That's a good point, and it's something that I talked to another host about last night. You know, and it's really the question of media impressions and how do you kind of distinguish, and especially since a lot of hosts don't actually track media impressions. You know, sometimes hiring PR firms and services to kind of track clips and do that kind of evaluation for you is difficult. But I do encourage you to submit that information to us. We will figure out a way to utilize that information. You know, the core metrics are kind of what we're focused on, but we do want to hear from you the successes that you're having about your campaign, and if that's, you know, media impressions helps you tell that story, we absolutely want to hear it. Does that? I mean, I know that's not really a fantastic. It is a tough subject, but we can have a separate conversation afterwards about how you might have some suggestions for it.
Hi.
Steve.
Hi, Steve from YBI here in the UK. Mark, I think the impact report is really great, and I think it's really moved on from last year, so congratulations for that. But I just wanted to say that I think, you know, the 3 numbers that we're collecting, so the number of activities, the participants, the partners, For me, that's not actually impact. That's it's like it's what happened in the campaign, but it isn't the result of the campaign. And I think for us, when we go and talk to media, we talk to potential sponsors, they want to know, well, what was the difference? What happened to those people that went that participated in the campaign? Was their confidence increased, or were their skills increased? And I think if we can start to understand how we could capture that kind of information, that takes the campaign into a completely new level.
That's a great point. Yeah, and I know I kind of breezed through that really quickly, and perhaps I might have jumbled my words, being sleep deprived and thirsty and tired. Or I guess those are two of the same. But anyways, that's a great point. And yeah, so the core metrics are kind of what I went through quickly. I want to make sure we've got consistency and structure on those. But Steve's absolutely right in terms of that's what we need to start thinking of in terms of how are we measuring the true impact, whether it's measuring success or stories about firms that are being created. Attitudinal surveys is one way we could do it, and I would certainly welcome a larger conversation around some of those ideas, because I would love to see us. There are a few things that are out there, and my kind of affiliation with the Kauffman Foundation probably precludes me from mentioning the GEM survey, but there are other surveys that are out there that start to look at attitudes on entrepreneurship, and something that I'd like to see kind of us look at a little bit more in terms of tracking kind of progress. Obviously, it's hard to tie things directly to GEW, so you don't want to claim too much credit for those things, but yeah, I'd certainly welcome any conversations or ideas anybody has about that.
Yeah.
Kashif?
Hi, Kashif from Pakistan. Adding on to what Nigeria said, probably it's more about printing that information. You're not getting a photograph for that when it's being covered on the radio, probably, and you don't have a picture for that, and you don't have a write-up for that. So one suggestion can be, wherever this program is taking place, we have a snapshot of that, write a paragraph, put up the topic, and there we have one more event that can be included. Another thing is, what happened to the number of events that every country does? Is that still on? Because that was one of the themes, which pushes up to do maximum number of activities.
So what was the question? What was the question again about the number of activities that each country does?
During that week. So is that on? Because initially when I saw the campaign, because this is my first year, I don't know what we did in last year, but we saw Brazil doing a number of activities.
Oh, on the website, the leaderboard, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think kind of backtracking on my point earlier where I was saying that, we want to make sure we're demonstrating the size and scope of our campaign. That's one of the problems that we have, is that, we know actually through our host survey that we just finished that we had 33,000 plus activities that happened last year. And so thank you and congratulations to all of you for that phenomenal number. One of the problems that we had is that if you look at the website, it showed about like 2,000 or 3,000, right? And so that's part of its problems, because you don't know what's going on until partners are reporting back to you. They're not registering their activities in advance. Part of it is a problem with the website in terms of the spreadsheet uploads, and they're not getting registered correctly. And so those numbers were bad. And as Rui mentioned earlier, sometimes if that data is, sometimes bad data is worse than no data. And so it got to the point where we just said, you know what, we're going to take this down, because sometimes if there are faulty numbers that are way too low, it's going to do more harm than good. So we did pull that down, but that's something that again, once we kind of all get on this kind of universal platform, that everything will feed into the right system and be automated, and the numbers will be there, hopefully.
Hi, Mark.
Come back to you. Sure, Dash.
Okay. Now, in Malaysia, actually, my partners actually wait for us to come back from the Global Entrepreneurship Week Congress to announce the year's plan. And what I would like to request is that to even get sponsors, we would like to plan activities 1 year ahead. Say 10 activities for women entrepreneurship, 25 activities for schools, whatever. But these doesn't get captured at the end of the year because it's just Global Entrepreneurship Week activities. Is it possible for us to evolve into Global Entrepreneurship Week initiatives outside the week, which culminates into Global Entrepreneurship Week activities during the week, so it's all get counted and totaled up? Yeah.
Good. That's a good question. Something that we've heard from several of you, which is essentially that do GEW related events and activities throughout the year. And so I'll reiterate the point that I made yesterday in the working lunch, which is essentially, yeah, we absolutely want to capture that. We absolutely want to measure that. So the website will have that. The national or the country websites that we're providing will be able to track that for you. That registration system will, partners will be able to upload information about their activities and events throughout the year. We'll capture that, but then it'll also capture just those that are scheduled to occur during the official GEW weeks in November, realizing that sometimes it's not the exact same week for all of us. There are some campaigns that are kind of a little outlier the week before, the week after. But we're going to focus the leaderboard and the metrics on those things that happen during the official week, but we do want that to be a year-round platform that you can utilize for your campaigns.
Hi, Mike.
Annika first, and then we'll come over to you.
Just a idea. It all starts with an idea, right? Everybody has to put up on the website, has to put up their events from partners, from everybody. Why don't you link your metric system to the event itself on your website? That after the event or activity, that you can say, okay, so many people attended. And it was a great success, whatever, some kind of, and that you can download that information to use for your metrics. Mm-hmm. Because we as an organization have to let our partners know how many people attended, because I have to fill out, let's say, 10 surveys per week, per every, Global Entrepreneurship Week. For the Ministry of Economic Affairs, for the Ministry of Education, sure. For the partners that are involved, I asked my partners again. So for us, it's the same, right. Hassle, and that it could be more, linked together, right. Especially in this digital age.
Yeah, that's
my belief, and make that a little bit more easier. That if you have an event online. And an activity posted there with location and information, that after the event you can say, okay, this is what happened during that activity. So many people attended, so many, whatever kind of metric thing you want to get out of it.
So essentially it's a partner survey that's incorporated into the global site. So that way they go in and do it themselves. Yeah, that's, I mean, I'll turn to the experts for if and how possible that is. I also want to think about this in terms of, not just kind of a phase 1, phase 2 approach for 2012, but also maybe a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 for, thinking 2013. We want to get to the system where right now the plan for the site is that we obviously have direct touch to all of you. The plan for the site is to get direct touch to all the partners, like the 33,000 partner organizations, but we're missing that bottom, that foundation layer, the 7.5 million people that are doing it, and so that's kind of